Stop right there, you horny boys and girls, because this video is sponsored by Era Labs and their brand new game, Rise of Eros. Rise of Eros is the world's first AAA adult mobile game produced in a realistic 3D style with full 360-degree angles that reveal characters' delicate facial features and every inch of their bodies, every inch of their erotic sexual bodies. I know you like that shit, don't lie. Start your very own adventure replete with love and passion, stunning goddesses, and dazzling combat. I mean, just check out these visuals. I'm bricked up just looking at it. The game follows the god Eros and the goddess Aphrodite. With the development of civilization, the flourishing of different desires and drives led to the birth of more and more deities and eventually erupted in the Great War of the Gods. And did you know, ladies and gentlemen, that this game is available on iOS and Android? We don't judge around here. Everyone gets the Eros. So if you're bricked up as much as I am, then make sure to check out the game for yourself by clicking the link down in the description below. Checking out the game helps your boy out, helps this channel out, and you get some good stuff. But thank you to Era Labs for the sponsor. Let's move on to the video. Let's fight, unpopular opinions, let's fight. Your shitty opinions will be put to the test. I don't know if I'll agree or not, but sometimes I will. So let's fight. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for another episode of Let's Fight, the show that I have been putting on the back burner for a while now, just because I don't know. It's a series that I used to do on the main channel, now doing it kind of semi-occasionally here on the second channel because I can't be bothered to do it on the main channel. Anyway, I asked you guys over on Twitter a while back a anime-related question. God forbid I still make anime content. I asked you guys on Twitter, what's the most overrated anime opening and why? Now look, when it comes to anime openings, always a massive debate in the anime community. You know, everyone's always trying to agree to disagree on, hey, what do you think is the best anime opening, not just of all time, but like even within like an anime series that has multiple anime openings? It seems that none of us can ever come to a solid conclusion as to what indeed is the best, what indeed is the underrated stuff, what indeed is the overrated stuff. So I asked you guys on Twitter, what do you think about that? And you guys gave me a lot of answers. So we're just going to go through some of them, discuss them a little bit, and see if I agree or disagree with them. Let's go. The main homie, James Landino, says, power move, I skipped them all. Motherfucker makes music for video games, and yet he skips all the anime openings. What the fuck? What's up, people? Death Note's first opening is far superior. Oh my god. I mean, I'm just gonna be straight up with y'all. That's an L take. What's Up, People is, I think, criminally underrated for an anime opening. I think Death Note's first opening, if anything, is way too overrated. Look, nothing against Nightmare, they make some banger music, and you know, there is nothing offensive about the first Death Note opening. But I think it goes without saying that a lot of people were not expecting What's Up, People by Maximum the Hormone as an anime opening, not just being put into an anime opening, but being such a fucking banger of an anime opening. It so perfectly encapsulates the rawness and grittiness and darkness of the second half of the Death Note series. And again, with its stunning visuals and its absolutely off-the-wall sound that is just so chaotic and brutal that it perfectly, again, encapsulates the spirit of Death Note so much better, I think, than the first opening. Especially those people who are not into the type of metal music that Maximum the Hormone does, kind of listens to it and goes, oh, this is just shit. This is just loud noises and lots of screaming and... I mean, look, don't get me wrong. I was never into that kind of music either growing up, especially when the first time I heard the Death Note opening came out as well. But goddamn, man, kind of ashamed to say that I think What's Up, People might have almost converted me to that kind of music, and now I am a massive Maximum the Hormone fan. I just think the first Death Note opening is just like a little too like normal and like run-of-the-mill in terms of anime openings. There are so many anime openings that feel and sound like the first Death Note opening. And don't get me wrong, I still love the first Death Note opening, without a question. But I think as time has gone on and we've had so many more anime openings that have a similar vibe and have a similar sound to that of the Death Note opening, whereas we've barely seen any other anime openings that have fit the sound and style of What's Up People, it just goes to show, and I think has like the kind of staying power of just being one of the most unique anime openings out there, and it being one of the most hard-hitting anime openings. All right, I don't even give a fuck what you think. Another music composer friend of mine, Alex Mukala, says, not sure if Overrated is correct, but I always had the feeling My War from Attack on Titan would not be as appreciated if it wasn't part of such a popular anime. So many pieces of music are carried by the media they belong to, though. Which, yes, I 100% agree with. I'm not exactly like the biggest fan of the My War opening. Look, call me normie or whatever, but I still think out of all of the Attack on Titan openings, the first one is still the best. I know that's like the most vanilla answer, and you know, a lot of people are like, wow, what a normie fucking answer, Joey. You picked the most popular one in the first one. What can I say? I still think in terms of the sound and especially the visuals as well, and the whole package of the first opening, I still think perfectly encapsulates the exciting spirit of Attack on Titan. Like, I think it's because of openings like that that a lot of people got into Attack on Titan. I also agree though with Alex in saying that I think a song like My War would not have been as popular if not for the Attack on Titan media. And the same thing can be said for a lot of openings, in my opinion. Oh, here's the one that got a lot of likes and replies. Unravel from Tokyo Ghoul. Ooh, that's a toughie. Look, I think, again, as much as I love TK, as much as I love Rin Toshite Shigure as a band, and I love TK as a singer, I do think that Unravel now has had this unfortunate thing happen to it, where it's run into the problem of the internet ruins another good thing once again. Songs like Unravel have just been used so much in multimedia on the internet, and has been used so much in meme culture. I think it has single-handedly ruined the song. Don't get me wrong, the first time I listened to Unravel, I thought, fuck yeah, dude. More representation to TK, more representation to Rin Toshite Shigure, because I still think they are one of the best Japanese bands to come out in a very, very long time. The fact that the first time that they were used in an anime opening was Psycho Pass, and yet so many people, A, either did not like that song, or B, didn't appreciate that song for its unique sound and style, is still upsets me to this day. And then suddenly Unravel comes out, and you know, it's a banger of a song, don't get me wrong, but I do understand as well why this opinion would come out of it being overrated. I wouldn't necessarily say that Unravel is overrated. I would definitely say that it is overplayed and overused now to the point where the novelty of it is just diminished. Oh, someone says here, Demon Slayer OP1. See, this one's a tough one. This one is a tough one. I wouldn't necessarily say it's overrated, just because, again, it's difficult to say something is overrated when, you know, the whole reason why it got popular is because it is part of a massive show and it has a massive singer's name attached to it. In that regard, you could say that every anime opening that is sung by Lisa that is part of a popular anime is overrated, but I wouldn't necessarily say they are overrated, because again, as much as I dislike the series as a whole with every fiber of my being, I still think the first Sword Art Online opening is an absolute fucking banger. And it's interesting because when I first listened to that opening, I actually didn't really like it all that much. I wasn't actually a massive fan of Lisa starting off. But, you know, again, it's the same thing with like Attack on Titan and like, you know, any of the shonen openings. It's hard to say if something is overrated or not purely because of the popularity of the series. It doesn't necessarily equate to the popularity of the song, if that makes sense. Evangelion? Evangelion? You know what, Cody? You deserve that massive fucking L plus ratio, dude, because that is so incredibly wrong. I think people fail to realize the absolute staying power of the Evangelion opening. Like, again, some people can argue that it's kind of similar to Unravel, where it's been used so much in multimedia, it's been used so much in memes that it's kind of lost its novelty. But the sound and style, and I guess the strange nostalgia that you feel listening to Evangelion, even though it may not have been part of your childhood, even though it may have been a piece of media and a song that existed before your time, it's just the fact that the sound of it is so nostalgic, and yet is such a familiar sound to a lot of people, even if you may not have necessarily watched Evangelion ever or back in the day. I mean, I don't care what anyone says. Every time that song comes up on karaoke, I'm singing the fuck out of that song, dude. It is such a banger song, and it's just like it has such a feel good vibe to it when you're singing it, and yet inherently it is a very dark and grim song that matches the feel of the entire series. It gives you this kind of tiny ray of hope at the end of a very, very long tunnel, which I think is the perfect way to describe Evangelion as a whole. Okay, I was fully expecting this one to come up. Someone says, definitely Chainsaw Man, now fight me. Yeah, look, I mean, I've watched the first 3 episodes of Chainsaw Man. You know, I don't want to sound like a contrarian or anything because people are fully expecting that from me. Considering that it is a Yonezu Kenshi song and it is part of, I would dare say, the most hyped up anime of all time that we have ever seen in the anime community, I was kind of expecting it to be a little better. I can already hear the comments of being like, wow, of course Joey doesn't like the Chainsaw Man opening. He always has to have a differing opinion about something. It pains me to say this because I really, really, really wanted to adore the Chainsaw Man opening. And in a lot of aspects, I do. I think the visuals to that opening are some of the most insane, wild, and incredible anime openings visually to come out in a very, very long time. I mean, the fact that, again, there are so many like movie references strewn all over that opening so perfectly encapsulates the kind of chaotic energy of the characters and the Chainsaw Man universe as a whole. I think makes visually the Chainsaw Man opening absolutely stunning. In terms of the song, though, and in terms of the music, I'm not necessarily the biggest Yonezu Kenshi fan. I have always thought his music was just kind of okay. I mean, there are a couple of songs that I really like from him, like Kaiju no Kodomo, the anime film. That song is absolutely gorgeous and perfectly, I think, captures the spirit of that film, even though that film was the most 5 out of 10 film I've ever watched in my life. But if I hypothetically was part of the kind of creation team to decide what kind of music we were going to use for the Chainsaw Man opening, I would not have used Yonezu Kenshi. If anything, I would have used a band like Maximum the Hormone or something a little bit harder. As like hard hitting and as high octane of a Yonezu Kenshi song it is that was used in the Chainsaw Man opening, I just don't think it's the kind of vibe that fits Chainsaw Man necessarily. Again, I think it would have been much better if we got like, say, you know, a Maxim the Hormone song or a Duron Grey song or a Cold Rain song, you know, something a little bit harder and something a little bit grittier and rawer, I think would have probably worked a lot better for the Chainsaw Man opening, especially for, again, how chaotic visually the Chainsaw Man opening is. So yeah, I kind of agree with this one. Most of the isekai openings ever, super generic with their rock opening. What? I don't know if you are a beeps and boops man when it comes to music, Mr. Nibbity Nibs, if that is your real name. Not every isekai opening is a rock song. In fact, the majority of them are J-pop songs. Like, I can only think of maybe like a handful of isekai series that have an actual like rock opening. I would say like rock openings for the most part for a lot of isekai is actually quite uncommon, and most of the rock songs actually go more to the shonen series rather than the isekai series. But yeah, I mean, you know, what can I say? You know, if you have a mediocre fucking show, you're most likely gonna have a mediocre fucking opening as well. Sword Art Online OP1 just because I hate SAO so much. See, I knew that was going to be one of the opinions. And again, as I mentioned earlier, I don't care how much you hate Sword Art Online. The openings fucking slap. If anything, here is a hot take from me that I have definitely said in past videos. I actually think the best Sword Art Online opening is the second one that a lot of people don't talk about because it was part of an arc in Sword Art Online that everyone fucking hated. I think it's the Alfheim Online opening, the fairy one. That opening fucking slaps and never gets talked about, and I don't know why. I actually prefer it over the first opening. As much as I like the first opening, as much as it is like the weeb national anthem and everyone loves it and Lisa fucking slaps in it, no one talks about the second opening. It slaps harder than the first one in my opinion. And again, this is coming from someone who despises Sword Art Online, who is known to be like a Sword Art Online hater for no reason, right? I still think the music in Sword Art Online is probably the only redeemable factor about Sword Art Online. Flyers or Death Parade? Are you talking about the Death Parade opening?
No.
That is Easily the biggest L take I've heard in my life. You cannot deadass tell me that Flyers by Bradio is an overrated opening. Do you not have a soul? Do you not feel emotion when you listen to music? All of the Bleach openings, because Bleach sucks. Oh, my good sir. My good sir. You cannot deadass tell me that you have listened to Asterix by Orange Range and told me that that is a bad song. You cannot be serious. You cannot! Tank, no contest. See, now you're just trying to, like, piss off the internet. You haven't even stated a reason as to why you don't like Tank. Again, how can you not like Tank? How do you not like jazz? Not only was that opening incredibly ahead of its time for when it came out, but again, it still stands up to this day. And there have been many anime openings that have taken hints from Tank and had taken hints from Yoko Kanno's music and have integrated it into the modern day and have turned out to be, again, just as incredible, if not better than Tank. I mean, take the Bakano opening, for example. That has straight up taken the spirit that Cowboy Bebop gave for Tank and put it into a fucking fantastic opening. And I would argue that the Bakano opening is just as good, if not better than Tank. So yeah, that is an L take. Take this L. Parasyte and Death Note OP2 are massively overrated. Death Note OP2 just ain't my kind of music, but Parasyte has the awful auto-tune vocals that make it incredibly grating to listen to. Don't understand why people like it. Okay, look, I've already talked about the Death Note OP2 thing, so it's fine. If metal isn't your cup of tea, then that is totally fine. But when it comes to the Parasyte opening, we're talking about Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, that band, I kind of agree. I don't have anything against people who use autotune, right? If people want to use autotune, that's totally fine. So in fact, sometimes autotune can be used in a quite endearing and, you know, nice ways that actually make the music sound good and add an extra layer to it. You know, like think of every fucking Daft Punk song that uses autotune, which is pretty much all of them. In terms of the way that it is integrated with the screaming vocals as well, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not a huge fan of it. If you guys are around my age and were around during the MySpace era, then you would remember a certain band called Broken Side. Look, I'm not saying Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas sounds like Broken Side, but the similarities are uncanny. At least Fear and Loathing kind of lean more into the rock side of things rather than the auto-tune side of things, rather than Broken Side, which is part of the crunkcore genre. If you never heard of crunkcore, don't worry, you didn't fucking miss out on a lot. But still, it's like I can't help but put a parallel towards those two bands because of the weird blend of genres that just doesn't sound like it works in theory, and in a lot of ways doesn't really work in practice either. Rai Circulation, it's great, but I still think other mono openings are on the same level as well. And you know what? As a Monogatari fanboy, I absolutely agree. I think Monogatari has a number of fantastic openings. And, you know, as blasphemous as this is going to be to say, Rai Circulation is not my favorite opening from the Monogatari series. Stable, the first opening, is absolutely incredible in my opinion, and no one talks about Platinum Disco. What the fuck happened to Platinum Disco? Do people not realize Platinum Disco has the exact same vibe and the exact same feel as Rai Circulation, but it also has a fucking banger dance track and doesn't feature the worst character in all of Monogatari? And here we go, the biggest L take of all time. Literally anything Naruto, it was never good. They peaked with Silhouette, and that was because of the memes that used it. Oh my god, that I think just gave me an aneurysm reading that. And here is another hot take, if since we're already on the train of hot takes. A Silhouette was not the peak of Naruto openings. Haruka Kanata is by far a better opening than Silhouette. Don't get me wrong, I fucking love Silhouette. It's a great fucking track. But the rawness and just the overall sound of Haruka Kanata and Asian Kung Fu Generation, I think just fit the young energy of early Naruto so much better than Silhouette, in my opinion. And again, I'm not even saying Silhouette is an overrated opening. I'm just saying it's not even the peak of Naruto openings, okay? We reached the peak at OP2. But yeah, as you can see, that was just one tiny edge of the iceberg of a number of bad opinions that you you guys have sent to this. So thank you once again, everyone, for sending me your horrible opinions. If you like to jump into the rabbit hole of bad opinions, then make sure to follow your boy over on Twitter so you can tune in for the next Let's Fight. And I will also leave the link to this particular tweet so you can see the shit show that is the replies to this tweet for yourself and try to find your worst opening take. But thank you very much, guys, for joining in on another episode of Let's Fight. If you have any suggestions for future Let's Fight episodes, then you can send them to me over on my Patreon, which is a great place where you can support me and my content as well. But hey, if you enjoyed this video, then make sure to smack my face right there to subscribe to the channel. Let's keep making big channel number go bigger. And over here next to my head is a couple more videos you can check out if you enjoyed this one. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube Shorts, and my Patreon all are down in the description below as always. And I appreciate you guys for coming out, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace!